travel to yeah. Okay. So, yeah, as you guys mentioned earlier, and Andrew, he did approach us, and we planned this, this jersey for a cause because with Stephon, he has like a lot of plans for, especially for the Philippines. He's learned to love, our country very much. So we always try to think of something that would, involve helping everyone. So this was. We conceptualized it like not even a month, just like a couple of weeks, and it's very successful because it's actually not hard to really plan stuff like this because he has so many ideas and projects. As mentioned earlier, the reason why we're here is because of his action figure that will be launched in China and then in Asia, and then of course first will be in the Philippines. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for always supporting Stephon's cause to help. And he's also here for his shoe drive, which was, it still continues. So yeah, so basically that's it. And thank you for always supporting us. All right.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sheryl. Of course, before the unveiling of the jersey, normally we would like to introduce the same way, like it's a call out inside the court. But since it's an intimate event, I know you guys know his credentials already. But every time I read it, I have to shake my head because really one of the best point guards that I've ever seen play the number one sport we all love, and that's basketball. Played from 1996 to 2009 in the NBA for 5 teams. 2 times NBA All-Star, twice All-NBA 13, NBA All-Rookie First Team in 1997, then playing for 5 years now in the CBA for 3 teams already, twice won the championship in the CBA, 5 times CBA All-Star from 2010 to 2014, CBA All-Star Game MVP in 2010, won the bronze medal in the Athens Olympics, 4th overall pick in 1996. Media friends, guests at court, standing 6'2", wearing jersey number 3, Steph Marbury.
You did a pretty good job right there. You sound like the MC at the Garden.
Thank you very much. That's a compliment.
Well, I just want to thank God first for giving me the mind and the heart to do what it is that I feel is important to do, to continue to create change on earth and to be able to help the little people such as Hannah and all the other little kids that are suffering from illnesses. Coming to the Philippines, I didn't know what to expect when I first came here, so I left myself completely vulnerable to love and to have a different understanding to a different culture. Coming to China has helped change my perspective on life for myself, let alone my perspective in how other people live. So, doing this jersey for a cause to raise funds, to give back, to help provide for the children who are in need. It was an easy thing to do for us. It was just the idea and making it come to life. You guys are the ones that are making it come to life, and the people who will support the cause will be the people who will help these little people. But more importantly, we have the mind to do it, and for us to have the mind to do it, that's really the most important thing, because a lot of people, they talk about doing things and they speak about these things, but they don't put it to action. I'm so blessed to have Sheryl, who's been my little sister, through trying times for her, trying times for myself, and her heart is so big, and the love that she manifests amongst people, and how she bridges people and brings people together is pretty amazing. She focuses on the cause and for JerseyHaven to come in and play a part in what it is that we're trying to do and trying to create change is so vital and amazing. It's really not about anything other than trying to help. And I think when you're able to help and when people can see that you're trying to help, it's a movement. When other people begin to get involved and they begin to see that it's not just about basketball, because basketball is, it's just a sport. But I look at the ball as it being the globe. When you hold the basketball in your hand, it's round, and you go so many different places to play the game. As you can see, I never in my life thought that playing in the NBA. I thought that I would retire in the NBA when you first get into the NBA. I never thought that there would be another chapter in my life where I would come to Asia and be able to have the love that's been shown to me, and the affection and the passion, It's just been a great experience, and I'm just blessed and happy to be here in the Philippines to do what it is that I'm doing. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Wow. And really, it's nice to hear that from an international professional basketball player. Rare do we hear that it's the top of your list to give back, to pay it forward, to make sure that whatever the blessings you got from basketball, you pay it forward, you give it to other people, especially those who are in need. Folks, I think that deserves another round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for again a great message. I'm sure our media friends would like to, they're eager. As early as 11 a.m., we were already wondering what to ask you from basketball to the program, how you help people. But before I open the floor, okay, we know this practice already. Say your affiliation, your name, affiliation before a question. Before that, I'm sure you'd like to take a closer look at the jersey for a cause that we will be unveiling today. So I'll hand it over to Sir Andrew, Ms. Sheryl, and Stefan here. And again, part of the proceeds will be helping our kids from APLF. Love is love. And of course, jersey number 3.
If you hold one side and Sheryl hold one side.
The designer of the jersey.
Oh, sir, join us here, please. Our jersey designer, Alberto. Join us here. With Tina, of course.
Can we look over here, please?
So we'll give you guys a couple more seconds to make sure that you have this. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Now, I'll be opening the floor for our Q&A. Guys, just raise your hands and I'll approach you. I'll give you the microphone. Again, name and affiliation before you ask your question. Who would want to start?
Hi, Stefano. I'm Nab from Raptor. I'm sure you now consider China as your home since you've been there for a while, but after having visited the Philippines for quite a number of times, did you consider Philippines something of a home to you as well?
Yes, I do. I believe home is where the heart is at. And I believe the love here, the love here has been nothing but, it's been the same. It's been nothing but love. And, that's what I've been sharing. Sheryl and I have talked about getting a place here. I'm definitely going to get one. It's just when, because I plan to continue to come here as often because we're planning on trying to continue to do things to, bring it's part of my brand, bringing my brand here and continue to do the charity works that we're doing. Even if the brand doesn't come here, we will continue to do that. As I said, I think it's very important. I don't consider myself as a player or a basketball player who's stuck in one specific place. You know, I feel like wherever help is needed, that's, you know, and you're able to help. I think that's what you're supposed to do. And I thank my mom for that. My mom, still let him talk that. The more you give, the more you get back. But it's not even about what you get back, because you're gonna get, because that's just the blessing that comes with it. So I will consider. I can't say that the Philippines is home.
Good afternoon, Mr. Khan. My name is Richard from Spain. You've mentioned that your experience in China has somehow been some kind of an eye-opener for you. Can you tell us how your China experience has helped you and eventually came over here and started this charity?
Well, when I first went to China, I was dealing with a rocky, difficult time in America, leaving the NBA. It's a long story, and there's three sides to the story. But for the most part, when I landed in China, I expected nothing, and I didn't want anything. I just wanted to play basketball and try to build my brand. And they respected that, and they understood that when I first got there. And it was told to me, in order for me to embrace China the way how I wanted to embrace it, as far as playing basketball and building my brand, I had to live there. And it was a challenge at first, but as time went on and I continued to invest myself into the culture, my life just began to change, because I started to flush out a lot of bad habits that I created from living in America. A lot of people in America, they don't really see the world, the way how a lot of other people view the world. Because, in America, at times, we are taught to think a certain way, like America, 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 which, there's nothing wrong with your country feeling that way. But not being exposed and then being exposed to something totally different, it helped change me in so many different ways, where for the better, and it helped expose my mind to think different and to feel different because of what I thought. So coming here was easy, because the love it's the same. It's that Asian love, and for me to be able to receive the love that I received, I just look at it as a blessing.
Question. Of course, you've been here in Manila for the fourth time, I think.
Yeah.
And then you've been to China for the past 2-3 years. Which country do you think is the most passionate as far as basketball is concerned?
Both. It's just different, though. The players here have a lot more flair than the players in China. I don't know the work ethic here as far as practice is concerned, but in China, they work extremely hard. We practice 5.5 hours a day for about 56 days before the season starts. For me, that was totally different. That was completely different from playing in the NBA, whereas you start training camp for like 9 days, you do 2 a day, and then you have to see preseason games within the season. So I think that both countries have great passion. They love the game, very enthused in how they view the game and see the game. They break the game down, talk about the game, what happened. Even for people who don't know how to play there, they understand. They understand the difference in why that player will be better for that team than another team, opposed to him being on another team. So, when you can see that and hear that, you know that there's some common sense in knowing about the game.
Hi, Steph. Welcome back. Obviously, you're no stranger to facing insurmountable challenges in life. And this coming August, the Philippines will be facing our biggest challenge in the basketball field. In almost like 40 years, I think, we're in the World Cup. We're facing the best teams in the world in that tournament. What kind of advice can you give our team, especially since we're not the biggest, we're not the best team in that competition, but we made it, and we're there with the rest of the field? What kind of advice can you give our players?
The first thing it starts with the mind. I believe that your preparation gives you the confidence in you going on the court and playing a style and a way when you get on the court. So I'm sure that they will definitely be prepared. I think practicing smart is very important. You can practice for a long time, but if you're not doing the right things, it's worth its hours being put forth on the court. So I've watched the Filipino league. They have a swagger. You know, the guys, they play with the swagger. And that's one of the things that I like, and one of the things that I spoke about with some of my friends back in America. You know, after being at the game, some of them knew that I was there. You know, and it's like, how are the players there? And I'm like, they know how to play. They have swagger in their game. They have flair. You know, they can do the things that, you know, people like to see, you know, when they watch. So I think if they play with that swagger, and I think if they go with the right mind frame and they prepare themselves the proper way and they just give it everything they got, I think that they'll have a chance. I mean, you always got a chance. It's 0-0. You know, anybody can win, anybody can lose. You know, that's been proven and shown, you know, with myself playing in the Olympics. So, you know, losing to Argentina. So it can happen, you know, at some point, I believe the game will continue to change. You know, as I said before, I don't believe in the NBA, you know, saying it's the world champions, because you didn't play against the world. And I continue to harp on that because of the way how the game is changing globally. You know, so I believe that one day there has to be a world championship where, you know, whoever wins the championship, wherever, what country, and it's a round off. Because anybody can be anybody in the 7-game series. You know, it's preparation, planning. Somebody could get hurt. You never know. I mean, LeBron James, he goes down in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? And then they lose. I mean, it happens. You know, so you never know. So, you know, but that's my thinking. You never know. And you just go out and you just play, give it.
One quick question for Sir Andrew and Miss Sheryl. I think you mentioned earlier that less than a month for the jersey to be designed. I'm just curious in the same way with our media friends here. What went through that thinking process? How did it go? If you could share with us some of the details in designing the jersey. Why the psychedelic colors, if I may say so? Very nice. Because if you look at the sneakers right now, I know Alberto's also here, probably could help us with Sir Andrew and Michelle. If you notice that a lot of the sneakers are very colorful now, regardless of the brand. Of course, the Starbury is color red. Can you please put it up? Beautiful sneakers there. So, we'd like to find out what was the thinking behind having a very nice and colorful jersey. Whether Alberto or Sir Andrew or Sheryl, who would want to answer?
The artist. Hi. Well, first of all, I picked the design which is normally for Filipino design. What do you call this? Bani. There. And love is love. I'll give it to Andrew.
Basically, what we did is we made a fusion between the Starbury movement and the Philippines. So we put the Philippine touch over the design. So then we come up with the new technology for the jerseys, which is the digital printing. So basically, it's lightweight, and at least it gives the person wear it more comfortable. So that way, actually, we just want to maximize it, and the main aim here is show the we can bring in the Starbury movement in the Philippines too.
Thank you very much, and I will attempt to wear this one. I'm just kidding. No. I have to give it back. That was actually my employee.
No, you haven't. All of you have.
Oh, we all have. Wow. Thank you very much.
If you wear this, you'll be able to play next time.
Yes, and I have a
Practice.
5-minute one-on-one with him to share some moves
Practice,
later on from my game.
practice.
Okay, Rico Olivares over here.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, Steph. Well, how you doing?
Thanks.
Yeah.
In China, do you have any other charities that are similar to what you're doing here in the Philippines?
Yes.
And what has been the response to that in China?
It's been amazing. I mean, the charity that I work with in China is with the government. It's over 50,000 government officials, over 70,000 government officials who go all over China to rebuild schools, basketball courts, everything pretty much. And whenever we go and do projects with the children, it's always a great response and a great reaction after. So the kids, they have a really good feeling and moving forward. So it's kind of like we give them a push to continue to fight and to continue to try to strive to do well in the life. And it's always great to hear the response after we leave the event about how the kids talk about how much fun they had. Like we'll play games like Chase the Eagle. You play little games with the kids. They remember those things. It's not so much about what you say to them; it's about what you're doing with them. So we really had a really great response in doing things like that in China.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chase the Eagle. Oh.
Don't be shy. You can ask your questions. Before, I'm sure some of you are formulating your questions in your minds right now. Would like to acknowledge the presence of our good Senator, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Sir, hello. Good afternoon. Also a basketball fan, by the way. Sir.
Alright, Steph. So my question is, I've covered your previous visits, and I've noticed now you do a lot of charity. It's like 80% charity, and you've only played basketball only once. In your second visit, it was the Coliseo Barker then. Have you ever considered, since you do a lot of charity work, have you considered at any time in your life, have you considered running for public office?
Maybe. Can I naturalize him first? Naturalize him.
That would be great.
No, actually, he's my brother, long lost brother. Filipino, half Filipino. Half joke.
No, I never thought about that. What I have thought about was to continue to inspire and to continue to push kids through my story from things that I've experienced. Even my short past experiences were very challenging during difficult times in my life. I think we all have a story to tell, and we all go through what we go through. No one knows what no one feels when they're by themselves or just walking in the street. And my thing is to always try to keep people in a positive place and a positive mind frame, because at the end of the day, it's the human race. It's really not black, white, Chinese, Filipino. It's really not that. It's really about people. And I think when you're able to connect with people, I think you really get the understanding about the heart and the mind of people. And that's basically what I've always thought about doing. I've never thought about that before.
Our next question, Steph, would be from a person who is an attorney by day and a sportscaster and a media personality at night, attorney Charlie Cuna.
Steph, as Chicky mentioned earlier, we all admire you for your point guard skills. There's a trend nowadays to make former point guards into head coaches. You have Jason Kidd, you have recently, Derek Fisher, Steve Kerr, even Kevin Ollie, who had success in college, is a head coach now for UConn. In your perspective, what do you think is the reason why there's a tendency for point guards to become head coaches? And do you see yourself in that situation anytime in the near future or distant future?
Yeah, I will be coaching in the near future. Obviously, we know basketball will come to an end. But for me, I think that I want to coach because I want to give back to the kids because of what was given to me. It's not so much as just coaching. It's more so teaching and getting kids to play the way how. But you can see their potential. You can maximize their potential. You can help them grow in areas that they really can't see, in their potential of what they're capable of doing. I love the game, and I love how you can actually design a way to win a game, because every game is different. No game is the same. And I think from the point guard perspective, I think because you're the point guard on the court, when you play in the NBA, you get a playbook like that big, and you have to know everything inside the playbook. As a point guard, people think in the NBA you just go on the court, you just play. It's so not that. I was talking to my friend today. We were talking about how hard it is to play in the NBA, and to not only to play, but to be one of the best players. It takes a great deal of commitment, a great deal of time, a great deal of practice and preparation, and trying to be that. And I think as point guards, what happens is you're so used to doing that, it becomes second nature to teach. Because you're always on the court, calling out plays, changing defense, switching sets, creating mismatches on the court without the coach even doing that. That's the sign of really good point guards who can see those different things on the court. And I think, when you're off the court, coaching or looking at the game, you actually see the game in slow motion. As when you play the game, you see it in slow motion. So you know how, like I said, how to create a design on the court. So you can construct and you put yourself in a position to win. So, I will coach, and I think that more point guards will continue to be coaches in the near future.
Thank you, Attorney Kuna. We're down to our last 2-3 questions. Then we'll get back to you, sir.
Hello, Steph. This is JP. Speaking of point guards, there's one that's coming to China. His name is Emmanuel Mudiay. How would you advise him? Because he's taking the plan of generation, which is to skip college and play in China for a year, then go to the NBA. So what would you advise him? And what would he expect in Guangdong? And what do you think about this kind of strategy?
I think it's great for the CBA. I think it's really good that you have a young, talented player who's willing to go to China and play for a year before he goes and play in the NBA. I think that because it shows the growth and the development within the league and how the league has grown. And I think for him, coming to China as an 18-year-old kid, you really don't. It's different. It will be different for him because normally the guys that come to China are veterans, guys that have played in the NBA. It's very rare that you hear about guys coming from college going to China, let alone a high school kid coming from high school into a professional sport in China. I think that for him, melting in to the culture will be vital for him, especially playing in Guangdong. Guangdong being the superpower of China. Those guys won 4 out of 5 championships before they lost the first championship to us. So he's playing with a really good organization. He's going to be playing with great players. But again, he's 18. And no matter how good you are, you're still going to have those learning curves. You're going to, go through those phases of the physical part, just playing professional basketball. But I think he'll be good from what I've heard. I've never seen him play before, but I'm almost positive he'll do well because, that's rare that Guangdong would make a decision like that. So he has to be good. So I think he'll be fine.
I've been aching to ask this question, sir. Every time you see a foreign player, it always pops up to our minds, the PBA. I just want to ask you, hypothetically, in case.
I'm not ruling it out.
Yes.
In case.
Yes.
Yes is the answer.
I'm not going to rule it out.
Yes is the answer.
I will never rule it out.
Because I'm sure whichever team, if you play for that team, you will have a lot of fans already here in the country. I am so sure. So is that something?
You never know.
You never know what you're gonna
I will
get.
never rule it out. I mean, for me, basketball is easy to me, so it's just basically conditioning and making sure that my body's fine. So I feel like I can play basketball for as long as I want because when you know how to play the game, you don't have to run fast. You don't have to, you don't have to run on fast breaks. You run when you're supposed to run. You just know what to do when you're on the court. So I think for myself, I know that I'm capable of playing at a high level for as long as I'm taking care of myself. So I wouldn't rule it out. That's all I'm saying.
On that note, is there a number, an age that you're aiming for before you?
I said that I wanted to play 5 more years. I basically, I said my knee, I had surgery on my knee, which I never had surgery on my knee before. So this year I would know exactly how I would feel. I know I'll be able to get through the season, but after I get through the season this year, God willing, I think that I will really have a really good evaluation. I only have 2 more years left on my deal, so you never know. You never know. And I mean, from seeing what I've seen, as far as the arena and how packed the arenas are and how the fans go crazy, I mean, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. I mean, that's what drew me to play basketball overseas. It was the passion, the passion and the love.
Look at all the fingers and writing that down. Since it's an internet event, the microphone is busted, so sir, just mention the question. Probably down to the last 2 questions.
Well, you've been playing since 1996, so that's around 18 years now. During that time, how much has the game evolved or changed in your opinion?
I think in the NBA it changed drastically because before you used to be able to hand check and you could arm ball and you could do so many different things. Now if you're a fast guard, it's like almost virtually impossible to guard a guy one-on-one. So you notice when you watch, a guy like Derrick Rose, you'll watch the defense will be like, everyone will be like in the middle of the paint, like running in, running out, running in, because, you got a guy that fast and you can't put your arm on him, you can't touch him. That, it makes it very difficult to guard me too. But I think the game has changed in a way where you have some guys that are just athletic, and then you have some guys that just know how to play. And I think as time goes on, we will continue to see those guys who do know how to play. Their games will continue to mature as the guys who do not know how to play are not just athletic. They will either stay athletic or they will fade. So I'm big on knowing and studying the game to make the game easy when you're on the court. And I think a lot of the young generation now, I don't think they study the game as much. Watching film for hours, before you play against a team. I mean, all of those different things are so important going into a professional game because it's hard to win a professional game. so that when you do win, or when you do win the championship, you know what you've done after you won the championship. You know all of the work and the commitment that you've done. So I think, in these days, I think the younger generation, I think it will have a swing where it will change as the guys who like Jason Kidd and Kevin Ollie, as those guys continue to coach, you will see, drastic changes. I think the older generation coaches, I think either they're stuck in their ways or they just in the fraternity of the NBA where they just go from one team to another team. You know how that goes. But I think as you continue to see new blood coming to the NBA, to China, and to the Philippines, I think you will continue to see the increase of the game changing. And I think my generation is part of that change.
Final question? Sorry, go ahead.
You've been helping the NBA for a couple of years already. Are you still
Slow down, look slow.
Okay. You've been out of the NBA for a couple of years already. Do you have any, have there been players from the NBA, from other NBA teams for you to come back?
Yeah. After we won the championship, the first championship I won, the Rockets tried to get me to come to play, but I knew that was only because of the Asian population, their fan base. I mean, not to say that they didn't want me to play, but I knew it was more to it than just me coming to play basketball. A couple of other teams reached out to me, but they knew that I wasn't interested because I pretty much said I was done with playing in the NBA. I thought playing overseas was, for myself, it was kind of trailblazing in all of what had happened and going to China. So it was kind of like, why would you leave a place where they just gave you a statue? Kind of like that situation. Like, it's kind of brainless to leave China to go back to the NBA when all of what was being created, to me that would have been a smart decision in leaving because of all of what had transpired. But the NBA is a great league. It's a great league, and I believe it's the best league because it's been in existence over the duration of time. But I think other leagues are starting to take a stab at going for it. And I think in the next 15 to 20 years, we will continue to see different leagues grow. As you can see, video games like they have it, like the Euro League now has NBA 2K. That's part of the transformation of it changing and the game growing because they're trying to basically get that message out of the game changing and letting people know that basketball is growing. Because now you can go buy a video game to play with European players to learn who they are, and you get to see it from a different view.
Yeah. Okay. Again, great questions, guys. But now we have to close our Q&A. But the party actually hasn't even started because tonight you guys are all invited to if there's a Jersey for a cause, there's a party for a cause. So that's tonight at 7 p.m. in Starwood Cafe in Legazpi Village. Dinner starts at exactly 7 p.m. So please make sure that you guys are all there. To be followed by another intimate Q&A, and then at 9 p.m. the party, the dancing party. And Tina is saying all the ladies enjoy the open bar, ladies only.
But you have a girl name, so.
Yeah, I am an exception since my name is Chicky. So it's 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. open bar for the ladies. Again, the party has just started. That will be tonight, the continuation of the party in Legazpi Village, Starwood Cafe. And please join that party for a cause. But before we end our press con, our Jersey launch, we would like to invite our APLF kids to come up here. And can we ask our friends from Heroes to help us with our table here?